And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the BatFlip, episode 128. Going to recap your Week 14 FAAB as usual, according to the NFBC Online Championships, and answer a lot of awesome listener questions. You guys came through in a big way this week, so we're looking forward to that as well. You can find myself on the Twitter at BDentric, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at BatFlipCrazy. Toby, how we doing, man?
Doing all right. I got my Phillies hat on for JT Realmuto, who's on a little bit of a heater right now, which my teams could use. I chose not to wear my Red Sox hat, which I don't have, with my Nick Pivetta, my 12 or 13 Nick Pivetta shares across my leagues. That's then has the Yankees on Sunday. So, Oh well. You win some, you lose some.
That is true. This was supposed to be the start. He was supposed to pitch well, so I'm with you on that one because big Nicky guy over here as well. And you know what's most surprising about your opening statement there is, out of all the hats you have, you don't have a Red Sox hat, and you're like a Red Sox. Like you went to so many Red Sox games when you lived back there, and you don't have a Red Sox hat.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually do have a Red Sox hat, but I have a Red Sox hat from 2000 to like 2013 or something like that. It's very old. It no longer fits my head.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of, I don't know why I don't have another one. It's kind of like hard to get another, like I feel like I have so many memories of that. And it reminds me of a certain time in my life. And I was a diehard Red Sox fan for many years. And so it's hard to it feels so impersonal to get one that's just like a regular old hat. My son, he was on the Red Sox this year in Little League, though. So,
yeah, cool. So he's got one then. So he's rocking one. So he can be the little G rolling around with the Red Sox hat. So we got that going for us.
Although he's an A's fan, and I was going to send out a tweet to Scott Jenstead that was like, so my son was on the A's 3 years ago, and now calls himself an A's fan because we've been to a couple games. How do I get him out of this? How do I tell him that this is a really bad idea filled with a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and no hope?
How do I save him from himself?
Yeah.
While we still have time, while he's still young and the brain can still be molded, how can we fix this? Oh, that's so good. That's
tough lessons to learn early,
Yes, life lessons. Baseball will bring many life lessons. We've established that in our own life, and he's about to find one out the hard way. So, very true. Good thing is, you can be like Dad and just get all the hats in the world and root for your fantasy teams. That's what I think. That's what A's fans eventually start to do. That's just the way it goes.
You're onto something there, Bubba.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie.
You guys can have a clause of his and his hats.
Yeah, there you go. I've also got my standing desk. I'm on a standing desk. I usually use a standing desk, so I'm feeling like I'm in the groove already for our show tonight.
Yeah, the listener questions, they motivated Toby, and I'll have to pick his brain later because I've been looking at standing desks potentially. So I'm excited about that. So it'll be something else because I don't mind sitting down, but I can't sit down as much as I do. So it's standing desk, but people don't need to hear that whole podcast. We can take that one.
Oh man, that one will be on the subscriber only channel.
Exactly, that's a special edition,
paid only.
Yep, got to get the special goods for that, and we'll finish it up with some s'mores talk. So that's how that one will work. But
for sure.
All right, let's talk FAAB. As usual, for those keeping track at home, we use the NFBC Online Championships 12-teamers because it kind of formats to most people that play 10, 12-teamers, but Toby plays a lot of 15s, so he'll give you his thoughts as well on the 15-team realm of things, but shouldn't take a rocket scientist to know who the highest and most added player in all of the OCs was. That was Vinny Pasquantino, was added in all 191 online championships, as high as 444, and the beautiful OCs as low as $1. Some league got him for $1. I tweeted out, I think I got him for like $33 in one OC just to keep him on his bid. The runner-up was $2. So I could have been in one of those leagues where it was like next to nothing. But some leagues, every other league I was in was at least like 150, 160, I think, or more. And that was kind of the standard. Obviously, you have more for main events, but he's got 3 hits so far, 1 solo homer. It's the only RBI and run scored he's got. We know what he did in the minor league. Big bat, but it's taking a little time to get going. What are your thoughts on VP? Like I said, I just feel like keep him on his bids in, and I got him in a handful of leagues, but I wasn't like overly aggressive because either lack of FAAB or I'm just not that kind of person.
Yeah. I only got him in one league. I wasn't super aggressive with him. It's interesting, actually. I'm looking at the projection, and it's been updated since Saturday night, Sunday morning, his batting average has gone up. I mean, I think what's impressive that he's done, he's got 6 walks and 2 strikeouts so far this year. He's hitting the ball hard. The O swing is fantastic. Contact rate is fantastic. He's already got 2 barrels, a max EV of 112.7. So he's kind of checking all the boxes. And I think that that's nice. He's hitting the middle of the lineup. The Royals lineup could be better, but you oftentimes won't find a better lineup that just gets a guy from AAA and sticks him in the leadoff spot. So I think there's a lot to like there. You know, obviously no speed. And the batting average, I want to say, like, hasn't been like through the roof, right? In other places. So yeah, like 280. So like, you know, kind of tie 200s, but I mean, the skills are all there. When I look at the projections, like the BatX has a 264 batting average, 10 home runs. It does have him for 2 steals. I don't know where those 2 steals.
Yeah, I was surprised to see those two. I'm like, what's going on here? Is Albert Pujols taking over his body or something?
It could be like maybe 1. We'll give him 1 maybe if he's lucky. I mean, Jesus Aguilar did get a steal today, which
on the bright side, watched. The Royals will run wild, so maybe they'll just let him run. Who knows?
They do. Yeah. So I think like there's everything to like here. And I think a lot of people went hard because we don't know when the next difference maker is going to come up. You know, we don't know when exactly that's going to happen. And so, yeah, like you got to kind of take your shots when you can. And with half the season left, he can do a lot of damage. He can help you out in a variety of different places, not speed, but he can help you out in a variety of different places. So I can see why people were really aggressive. I wasn't that aggressive just because I like to have FAAB towards the end of the season. I like to have a lot of FAAB when those pitching matchups get a little bit gnarly in September. And I didn't feel like I needed to be aggressive enough. There was a couple places I put $90 bids in, I think. I might have gone like 112 in one spot where I really needed power, but not enough. Wasn't aggressive enough to get him. And in my 12s, I put it for like, I think I had like a $57 bid or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. Like the dude was a beast. The Italian breakfast, Italian beef, depends on what you want to call him, was awesome in the minors. And it makes you feel like they waited so long to bring him up. They traded Carlos Santana. So it's his job for the foreseeable future unless he just completely tanks and something goes horribly wrong. So they're going to let him kind of get his ups and downs, just like they did to MJ Melendez, who started out well, struggled. Now Melendez has 3 home runs already this week, so maybe he's starting to figure it out. A lot of young talent there in Kansas City. They still have Nick Prado, who we haven't seen get called up yet. So they got a lot to look forward to there. So we'll see what Vinny P, the Italian breakfast, can do. It's going to be fun to watch going forward. Another guy in the Vinny P ilk, Derek Hall, burst onto the scene last week. He had 20 home runs in the minor leagues and 5 stolen bases while hitting 269 for AAA Philadelphia. Got called up. He was added in 138 leagues, as high as 111, as low as $1. He had 3 hits on Tuesday night. Now hitting 304 on the season with 3 home runs. No walks yet. That's a little bummer. But getting the job done, he's hitting cleanup. He's basically walked right into the middle of that order, which is a big plus. And with Harper out, it looks like they're looking for Hall to bring some thump to that lineup. And it looks like he might be there for a little while. I asked the prospect gurus, and I got an answer from James Anderson on Twitter. What should we expect from Derek Hall? Because I hadn't heard much about him. And he basically said he's Dalbeckian-esque is what he called him. So take that as it's worth. But what's your thoughts on Derek Hall?
Yeah, I wasn't that aggressive on him, honestly. I mean, he kind of comes up, he hits 3 home runs. If he didn't hit 3 home runs, if he even went like 7 for 7, he was hitting 1,000 and he didn't hit those 3 home runs, I don't think people would have been like nearly as aggressive as they were. The projections don't love him. I mean, the power is there for sure, but they don't believe in the batting average. Little known fact, I picked up Derek Hall a year and a half ago in a 20-team dynasty league, and I dropped him. And I probably should have picked him back up because it's OBP too, but I didn't. So I'm bitter. But I don't see. I mean, the key thing for me is like, is a guy, if I'm going to spend like a hefty amount of FAAB on somebody, is he a guy that I plan to have, that I see being much better than kind of replacement level rest of season? And replacement level can get pretty nasty, but there's still guys out there, you know, who have good lineups, who are playing. So I didn't really see him being much different. And I think if we check back in 2 weeks, if he's still with the team, he's probably hitting towards the back end of the lineup. And, like you mentioned, Dalbeckian-esque, which isn't terrible, which can go on streaks, but you got to have him in the lineup when that happens, and you got to be ready to take some zeros.
Yeah, I grabbed them in a couple places again. Keep them honest type style stuff. It wasn't anything crazy. It was actually I got him and Vinny P in the same OC for $33 each. Both runner up bids of $2. I was just shocked because Hall was going for more than that everywhere. So it was just one of those leagues where guys either were asleep at the wheel or didn't care. I don't know, but my option always a little help for the time being. We'll stream. We'll move on. See how it goes, but. I'll take the Dalbeckian-esque for now in that lineup because the Phillies lineup is booming right now in a big, big way. So I'll take my chances there. He's hitting right in front of JTR, which should help get him some pitches. Man,
all those RBIs JTR is going to get.
Big time, big time. Third most added player this week, Will Smith, not the Dodgers, the Braves reliever, picked up in 122 leagues, as high as 103, as low as $1. 3 saves in his last 3 appearances. Has looked pretty darn good overall over his last month or so. With Kenley Jansen going on the IL with the irregular heartbeat. They're saying he's not going to be out for a while. We'll see. It's an irregular heartbeat. He's dealt with this before. So we hope for the best for Kenley, of course, who has been awesome this year. But Will Smith, it looked like it'd be AJ Minter at first, but Smith's kind of walked in there and looked pretty good of late. It might not be his job 100% of the time, but he looks to kind of have the lead on the situation. So that's why people were aggressive on him. Did you grab Will Smith anywhere this week?
I didn't. I had him up there in bids, but I wasn't super aggressive because of the news about Jansen coming back. And obviously it's an irregular heartbeat. You want to take that super seriously, but it sounds like Kenley is doing that. And so, and he'll be back. There's a little bit of question, AJ Minter was so good. Like who is going to get, is Smith going to get regular playing time? But it was enough like where a week was worth like $10 or something like that. So I threw those bids out on him. When you look at the underlying numbers, the thing that stands out is the whip. Like he's always had a pretty strong whip or most of the time, but at least in recent memory. But the walk rate is sky high, but I'm not sure why necessarily. The zone percentage is down a little bit. First pitch strike is right in line with where he is across his career. O swing is actually higher than it was last year. So there may be a little bit of bad luck there. He's not dominating in the zone the way that he usually does. 88.4% in zone contact rate. K minus walk rate is only 11.2%. So there's something going on there, not captured in the numbers. Don't know if he's just getting unlucky or what's going on. The home runs are an issue, but they always have been, in 4 straight years of 138 or higher. Home run per 9, but generally he wasn't walking guys as frequently. So it's a little bit less of an issue. So yeah, I mean, he's fine. He's just, a rental guy until Kenley's back though, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. My biggest question was like what you mentioned. The reports were pretty positive about Kenley not missing too much time. So I wasn't willing to break the bank on Will Smith. That was my biggest thing. Could come back to regret it. We'll see. But that was my biggest concern. The Braves are winning a ton of games, so he's going to get chances for now. But I was with you. I think Kenley will be back sooner than later, hopefully. And then Will Smith slides back into that the setup man, 7th, 8th inning guy that he was beforehand. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yusei Kikuchi was the 4th most added player in 97 leagues, as high as 38, as low as $1. Coming off a couple good starts there against Tampa Bay, and 2 innings versus Milwaukee. Okay against New York. That was all fine and dandy. Gets the Oakland Athletics in his first start of the week, which always is a juicy one. And he went 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 5 walks, 2 hit batters, and allowed 4 runs. 4 runs in 2 1/3 innings. It was dreadful, Toby. Absolutely dreadful. And people still have to stick around for one more start this week from Yusei Kikuchi, which is dreadful. And I fell into the trap in certain spots where I needed pitching badly, so I streamed him, and I paid the price in a mighty, mighty way. So what's your thoughts on Yusei? I knew there was risk, but I thought you could at least take care of the A's. This was a big oh no situation.
Yeah, big oh no. Yusei Kikuchi's whip since he got in the league. People have been really into him. I was into him early last year. And then I kind of saw what ended up happening. He had a stretch there where he looked pretty good, but his whip over the course of the last 4 years, 152, 130, 132, 152. Now I know that people are going after those Ks, right? People are going after the volume, but you just it's just so dangerous. Like look back at I think he pitched against the Mariners and he didn't make it out of the first inning. Like, this guy does not require good teams to struggle. Like, struggled against Minnesota, struggled against Baltimore, didn't make it out of an inning against the Royals. Like, Cincinnati, he didn't get to 5. I mean, he's made it to 5 innings twice in his last 8 starts. So 4 super low, ceiling kind of low as well. So don't have Yusei Kikuchi on your team. Sorry, Bubba. I know you fell into the trap.
It's all good.
And I did it earlier this year too. So I'm just as guilty, but don't do it, people. Just give up. Just give up.
It was leagues where I was not worried about my ratios because they're already bad enough. So I'm like, give me the innings, give me a win, do something. And he couldn't do any of that. So that was just like a complete, like, maybe go get a Phantom IL stint and miss your next start. Let's just go that route. I'll take the hit, just call it good in that scenario. All right. Looking forward to this one. We talked about him last week. Dean Kramer picked up in 92 leagues, as high as $75, as low as 1. We were concerned about the strikeouts, maybe not going deep. He went 7 innings against Seattle his last time out. 3 straight starts, 0 earned runs allowed. Well, he met the Texas Rangers on Monday afternoon. 4 2/3 innings, 5 earned, 4 strikeouts. The Dean Kramer that Toby warned so many people about. How are you feeling now, Toby?
Well, I mean, I don't feel that great because Dean Kramer really hurt some people, But no, he is what he is. And I think the thing is, I mean, you go with these starts sometimes. And the thing that you just have to acknowledge is that you're going with luck. Like, you're rolling the dice. I mean, it's kind of like, Nick Pivetta has been good in some stretches. He hasn't been that good in some stretches. The skills aren't overwhelming. And I had him in like every single one of my lineups today. So it's been an okay day. But sometimes you just got to acknowledge that you're going with luck. You're rolling the dice. And sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not. I was watching this game actually, and I think he was clean through 4 innings or through like 3 and some odd innings. And then it was like hit after hit after hit after hit. It just didn't stop. And that's what happens to guys like these. When you don't miss bats, this is the danger. It's the danger for every guy that doesn't have a particularly high strikeout rate. But when yours is so low, right? Like when it's 15%, 17%, it just makes it a real challenge unless you have shown a demonstrated history of being able to do that before. So yeah, it's rough. I'm sorry for folks who added Dean Kramer, especially in a 12-teamer. I mean, guys, there's better out there. It doesn't matter what's happening.
Yeah, it was a rough one. I didn't get much Dean Kramer because I got Yusei Kikuchi, so it didn't matter either way. Or I got this next guy who got scratched on Tuesday, so this gets even more fun.
Did he get scratched?
Yeah, and I haven't seen why. I haven't seen why
man.
yet, so it gets even worse. But Mitch White added in 80 leagues, as high as 77, as low as $1, and he was supposed to have 2 pretty nice starts this week, and he was getting stretched out, and there was some optimism there, especially from guys like me, who was a big fan, but he got scratched. So I'm going to look up if that's come out at all yet, but I have not seen why. We'll start for them to Pepio got the start, but I have not seen why Mitch White got scratched. That's the one. No explanation. Could just be a way to ease up on starting rotation during the stretch of 20 games between days off. That's all we're seeing. So hopefully he pitches tomorrow and you just don't get the 2 start. But yeah, it's a rough go for those that really wanted to make it happen this week.
Yeah, what's so brutal about this is people were super smart, right? Like people last week, they ponied up for him, knowing decent start last week. I mean, the Padres are the Padres, but after that top half of the lineup, it's a little bit weak. Or actually, after like Manny Machado, it's pretty weak.
It's pretty bad.
Manny Machado's one-man wrecking crew sometimes, but and then the 2 great starts this week. And so you set it up correctly, right? You did everything that you could to line it up, and then it just doesn't work out. I don't know what his 2-step might look like next week.
I'm pulling that up while you talk. I'm very curious now.
Yeah, so it's a tough one. I mean, we talked about Mitch White last week, so I won't go in detail. It's not overwhelming, but he's a Dodger pitcher with good matchups, and so you go with him. I'm sure he would have been fine today, but definite bummer.
because even Pepio is pitching pretty well. But if the Dodgers only play 5 games next week, so his 2-step he gets at St. Louis in his first start if things go as planned. His 2-step wouldn't be till the following week, so I don't even know what that would be just yet. Or isn't that I don't know, maybe the All-Star break. So we might not get a 2-step for a while from Mitch White. That just stung in a big way. But he, like I said last week, he's more of a long-term play in my mind, playing on the Dodgers. So hopefully that pays out because that's a stinger. But yeah, buy him a week early, didn't pay as much. So that's a good positive sign through it all.
Yeah.
Isaac Paredes still getting at it everywhere for people that didn't believe at it in 79 leagues, as high as $200, as low as $2. The low bid was more than Pasquantino's. That's always entertaining. But Isaac, he continues to do it. Like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. He had 3 more home runs last week. Not striking out still. Like the dude's producing, which is very, very intriguing. Are you still in or out on Isaac Paredes?
I know. I think we were some of the people who were downing him a little bit. Me more than you.
Yeah.
Me more than you for sure.
I added him in a few spots this past week just because he was still sitting there in 12. So I was like, okay, I'll take it on. Let's see what we got. Let's go. Like I was bidding lower on him, and because I'm like, I'll get him and let everybody pay for Vinny. I'll get Paredes and see what happens, and we'll see.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing. There's no real different story. We don't have any new data. He's got 13 home runs on 9 barrels. He's got maybe some batting average luck coming his way, and then some home runs going the opposite direction. But, you ride him while he's hot and he's playing every day. And Tampa has a decent schedule. I mean, they have the Red Sox to start off with, but nothing like super overwhelming. I think Pivetta is the best guy throwing during this series. And then I think they have a decent matchup. Who do they have the second half of this?
Tampa Bay, they got a big week. It's
they got at Cincinnati.
That's one reason I really liked them. Great American Small Park, big fan there.
Yeah, and then next week they got Boston again, and again, you're talking about a depleted Red Sox rotation, and then you have Dean Kramer. I mean, later on in the week. I mean, let's be honest with you, like that's just going to be a bonanza right there. And he's going up against Jeffrey Springs, which means like clear devastation. Which, by the way, I started Jeffrey Springs and Nick Pivetta in a few leagues just because I was like, you want to know something? I just want to give myself that double chance at a win. And guess what?
Goose egg.
Didn't happen. So yeah, with Paredes again, like we talked about him extensively last week. I think he's solid, but I think he's way more spectacular than he really should be. And I think one of the biases like that I've been thinking about a lot recently is like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when you it's like you remember things that exist more than the absence of those things. If
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, I think this happens a lot with us where we're like, we have a guy like Paredes and he's in our lineup and he's crushing it. And that's immediately in our mind. It's like, he's crushing it. And then you fast forward a month and he's the guy who hits 150. Mm-hmm. But because he's like, it's the absence of him doing things as opposed to like feeling that, like we still have in our minds that he did this thing,
crushing,
or he's done this thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing a bad job of explaining.
It's almost like positivity bias or something, or because it's not recency bias, but it's more like a self-satisfying bias of some sort.
Our buddy, friend of the pod, Rob DiPietro, will know for sure
exactly what it is.
The bias, because he knows all the biases and he's talked about them on his show, which is fantastic. I recommend it. But yeah, it's just, I just think that, those are the guys like think about, it's kind of like what we talked about with a lot of hitters that started out hot. We still have that image in our minds that they're like really good still. And then you look at their numbers and you're like, oh, actually like, man, has he done anything in the last 2 months? Yeah, he is kind of who we thought he was, right?
Yeah.
And so again, I think Paredes is fine. He's a great pickup in.
A fun player in that vein that's going to come up here probably the next week or two of, do I drop him, sit him, what do I do? Is going to be John Birdie, because he's already starting to lose playing time with Joey Wendell back. He hasn't played in 2 straight games, and when Jazz Chisholm comes back, and if Birdie still, is back to like his platoon role, now do you keep him? Like 15s, you're probably still keeping him, yes. But those 12-team leagues where you got like the 18 steals or whatever you got from him, it's like, I remember how awesome those days were. Those were great days. but he's just sitting there now playing like 3 days a week. Is this worth my time? That's where it gets fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's injured. I think he was
Because he
like
had a bad week
overcoming
last.
an
He stole
injury.
4 bases last week, but he hit like a $189. Like he struggled last week for sure.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where that one takes off.
Yeah, I read some comments about how their lineup's just pretty banged up. That's why a bunch of guys sat on Monday. My God, that lineup that Marlins put out.
Horrific.
I put out Patrick Corbin because he had that 12 strikeout game, and when I look at the underlying metrics, like the velo's way up, the metrics are a lot better. So I was like, Marlins. I don't love the Braves start at the end of the week, but we'll see. And he got BABIP'd around a little bit, but God,
still
that
pitched
lineup,
well.
I've never seen a lineup that is that bad. I mean, their DH was like Nick Fortes, which I'm not a hater on Nick Fortes. He's like
he's a great
JGR,
catcher, not a DH.
He is not. He is not.
I'm with you though. I felt really good about all my DC shares of Patrick Corbin this week. I'm like, yes, I get to use you again. Thank you. But we'll see how Brave start goes, you said. Next up, this is another fun one. I put some bids in on this gentleman this week, and it did not make me feel warm and fuzzy, but saves are saves. Hunter Strickland picked up in 71 leagues as high as $89, as low as $1. On Sunday, he might have lowered his price a little bit because he blew the save, but got the W against the Braves. 2 saves prior to that. And he had about 5 straight shutdown appearances prior to that. So the Reds have been going with Hunter Strickland, former Giant, or he's still a mental case probably because like just watching him, he loses it real quick out there. But right now, we've said this probably a half a dozen times already this season. He is the current Reds closer. So he was on the docket for me for now, subject to change. What's your thoughts on Hunter Strickland?
Yeah, I actually got him in a super this weekend. And guess who got the win today for the Reds?
Did he get it?
Hunter Strickland.
Heck yeah.
Hunter Strickland.
Let's roll.
Clean inning in the 9th, and then the Reds win. By the way, Lodolo
and Scherzer. They both.
Lodolo. I got Lodolo 12-11 in a league. In an OC where I need ratio help. So
I was adding Lodolo the last couple of weeks, and I was like, he's coming back. Let's start adding him, and it was beautiful.
For sure. So Hunter Strickland. Yeah, with these guys, you just always got to keep a temperature check on like what they're doing. And I dug in on Hunter Strickland. There's some things I like. There's some things I don't like. The thing I don't like, the in-zone contact rate is not great. He's not dominating in the zone. Never really has historically, but doing worse of that this season, 87.7 in-zone contact over his last 15 games. I'm not looking at the full season. I'm just kind of trying to look at what he's doing recently. Any pitch mix changes,
what got
stuff
him
like
this
that.
role, basically? What did he do?
Exactly. But then, his O swing is higher than it's been, over his 3-year average. It's one of the highest it's been in the last couple years, 32.1%. So that's not bad. Don't mind that. His K rate's at 25%, so better than league average. Not like your dominant closer K rate, but pretty good. And then his walk rate is way down at 6.7%. So something he's doing has really helped him do that. So he's got like an 18.5%, in zone or K minus walk, which is fine. It's good. He's getting every save opportunity there. So I went with him. Swinging strike rate at 12.1%. Again, not the dominant stuff you want to see from your closer, but good enough. And so, I kind of rolled with him in some places. Again, I know what I'm getting into. It's probably not going to be fantastic. It's probably not going to end good, but I'm going to hope that it starts out good. And then when all the bad things happen, I guess it doesn't apply to pitchers, that bias I was talking about, but we'll see what happens. He's got the gig.
These streamable closers, a lot less biasy involved. It's more like, okay, see ya, we're done. Like pull ripcord now. Like I'm with you on that one. But yeah, I added him in a few. I do remember, like as a Giant, he made you very frustrated, but he'd go through stretches where he was filthy, like a really good closer. He's got good stuff when he's on. The question is, how often will he be on? Good thing Bryce Harper's not around, so he has nothing to deal with that. But it will be interesting. I'm with you on that. And the Reds are like not a great ball club, but they're productive enough to get him chances as we've seen of late. So it could be a really good spot there for Hunter Strickland for the time being. Johnny VR is back, folks. Added in 66 leagues.
Back.
As high as $57, as low as $1. VR is near and dear to my heart and Mr. Bloom's heart. Like we talk about him, I think, every week. And the Angels did what the Angels do. They went and got a super utility player because that's what they love to do. And since joining the Angels, this was his first game. He went 0 for 4. But there sounds like they had him off playing third base on Sunday, and then he went 0 for 4 again tonight. So looks like they're giving him some fair run out there because they went and sent Tyler Wade back to AAA. So, what's your thoughts on Jonathan VR, who might get regular playing time again? And with regular playing time, he will run and run and run.
Oh, I love Jonathan VR. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Love it so much. He's such an Angels pickup too, and batting him lead off, like,
Yep.
it's wonderful.
They never changed managers.
Yeah. I bid high on him in all my 15 teamers because I need steals. I have a main event that was doing pretty well before today. Today's Nick Pavetta start. But yeah, heading into today, I think it was 29th overall or something like that. And I need speed. So a couple weeks ago was Josh Smith. This week it was VR, $77, backup of 17.
Whew.
Oh man. But I wanted him. So I did it. I got him in Barf as well, where I need speed pretty badly. I think I went like 57 there and I got him pretty easily. Yeah, I mean, he's leading off. You know, if you need steals, I mean, the thing about VR is like people focus on the steals, but part of the game with him too is there's a little bit of pop there.
Yep.
He's a 15-20 guy over the course of a full season. Yep. So if he gets me 5 and 10, like the rest of the season, like I'm totally comfortable with that. I'm totally fine with that. And he could be a major difference maker. If he goes on a VR style run.
Top of that order with Trout and Ohtani and Walsh and Ward, like he's going to score a ton of runs potentially.
Yeah,
potentially.
He could. I mean, you know, it's boom or bust, but sometimes you got to go with hope for the boom.
Yeah, I'm mad at myself because when he got DFA'd, I dropped him in a handful of leagues because I needed to. And here's what happens when things like that happen. I don't regret the move because the move at the time was the right move. But this is the kind of stuff that stings from time to time as he landed in a very good spot once again. I'm going to skip David Peterson because we have a listener question. We'll talk about him later on the show because I think it's a good question because he's been pretty good lately. And he was added in 66 leagues. So we'll talk about him in a bit. Lou Trevino, we talked about last week, added in 56 leagues as high as 101, as low as $1, picked up a couple saves last week. He's kind of in the Hunter Strickland vein. I think we're pretty similar on that one. It's like roll him while you got him, see where it goes.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, Jake Myers of the Houston Astros. He got called up. People are pretty pumped on him from his minor league production. It wasn't like worldly, but he's got some power, got some speed. Usually it's for a big average. 1 for 4 with a couple ribbies on Tuesday night. And since he got called up, he's hitting 278 with a home run, 8 RBIs, no walks. But some people are very optimistic on him. Added it in 55 leagues as high as $40. Thoughts on Jake Myers?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like a really good example of a guy who, you know, of like how I think you should play 12 teamers. Like he's a guy that you would love to have on your team for the next couple weeks because the Astros, like this week, he's already crushing it. But like the Astros have KC for 4, followed by at Oakland, and then they have at Angels, and then they have Oakland again. You know, so they have Heasley, Greinke, Keller, Bubic. Blackburn's been good. Montes has been good, but Irvin's been good, but still, like they're not like guys that you're necessarily afraid of.
And Montes might be on the IL.
Silseth. I mean, Otani's straight nasty. But then Montas, you know, Irvin, and then whoever, they're Angel Martinez, I think, or something like that. Or no, what's his name? A Martinez, is it?
I always screw it up. I even asked a prospect guy the other day when he was making his debut, like I've never heard of him. Adrian.
Sorry, yeah, I only said that because I actually literally have only seen A Martinez as his name. Everywhere. Yeah, I've never actually looked into him
because he is A Martinez. Yes.
Yeah, he is A Martinez. You're right. So yeah, so like this is I think a perfect play, like where you throw him out there for that KC series. In my 15 teamers, you'll see I got a bunch of Chas McCormick. Well, they decided that after Chas had a wonderful weekend that they wanted to sit him for the first 2 games of the series. I'm hoping he gets back in there for the last 2 because it was all about this Royals series. You know, it's just, and you can see what's happening. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm surprised the Royals are scoring so much, but it's just been gnarly. It's been a wild offensive show. So Yeah, I think Myers is great. He reminds me a little bit of like Hunter Pence. Maybe it's just the hair.
Yeah, that's a good resemblance.
Um,
Astros hair, the whole thing. Yeah,
totally. And like then we talked about him last week, but like over the course of a full season, he's about a 15-8 or 9 guy. So again, you're hoping that you get a little bit of luck. He does have a 62% ground ball rate, which isn't very good. So again, ride it while you can in a 12, and then kind of move forward and pick up the next guy who plays the Royals in an outfield position. So
that's a good call. Good call. Anybody else you'd like to discuss? Otherwise, I think we should go to our FAAB results, and then we have a lot of good listener questions we can really dig in on here in a little bit. But it's like Cueto's, Plesacs, Tyler Wells, a lot of kind of streaky pitchers were getting some love this week.
Yeah. Nobody to add, I think.
All right, let's talk about it. What happened for you in FAAB this week?
About it. All right. It was a busy week. A lot of ads and drops. I have some teams that just had to move on from some guys like Jonathan Daza with, not that he hits home runs or steals bases at all, but I've just been playing him when he plays in Colorado.
Pretty much.
Yeah, now with Bryant back, though, he's pretty much done. So Chas McCormick picked him up, dropped Jonathan Daza, $13, backup of $5. That has not worked out well. Jonathan Davis, I did not see what Davis did today. Probably not a lot. Jonathan Davis picked him up for speed, and because he's playing every day with Tyrone Taylor on the concussion IL. Dropped Diego Castillo, who, despite hitting like 5 home runs in 8 games, was relegated to the bench and a lefty-only guy. Picked up Adrian Sampson, dropped Corey Knebel. Sampson has looked pretty good. The skills are all pretty nice, like red round league average, K- walk. These are 15, so nice little swinging strike rate, good O swing. So I went with him. I picked up Patrick Corbin, dropped Emilio Pagan, added Jose Suarez, who has actually been really good skills-wise over the last little bit. He's got Baltimore this weekend, so dropped Austin Voth, who I was hoping I might get the 2-step out of, but he wasn't throwing enough pitches and wasn't as good. This one hurts right here. This one hurts right here. Felix Bautista, added Felix Bautista, dropped Rich Hill. Why did I add Felix Bautista? Because he has been lights out. Mm-hmm. Because Jorge Lopez blew 2 straight saves. Yep. He blew his 3rd straight save on Monday. Bautista gets a chance to save the game today. And what does he do?
Blows it.
Blows the save.
Ouch.
Blows the save. I mean, this was like 3D chess.
The stars were aligning for you.
The pieces, I think they were going to give Lopez the job back anyways. I mean, he's been so good. You can't just kick him out when he struggles for three starts after how good he's been. I mean, it's just regression, right? But like Bautista's been really good. I feel like Lopez is a guy that they're going to want to maximize his value, trade him at the deadline to a contender. Bautista all lined up. It was working out perfectly. And it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen, Bubba.
No good.
Those are the breaks.
Yep.
Those are the breaks. All right. Next up. Sorry, guys. This could be a long one just because I dropped and added so many people. By the way, I'm really excited about my Seiya Suzuki pickup two weeks ago.
It's worked out so well so far. Yes. Very, very nice so far.
So added Hunter Strickland for 17, runner-up of 15, dropped Zach Davies, who's on the IL. Here's another one. Added Jonathan Scope, dropped Diego Castillo.
Ooh.
$17,
like
$1 backup bid. People, I tweeted about this. Jonathan Scope, there is no difference between Jonathan Scope this year and in previous years, except his home run per fly ball rate and his BABIP. Those are the major changes that he's seeing. And since I inserted him in the lineup, I don't know what he did today. He's stolen 2 bases this week already.
That's good.
In 2 days, 2 stolen bases. He was 6 for his first 6 in the doubleheader yesterday. I don't think he has a home run. So I've still got that positive regression coming his way. But today he scored a bunch of runs. I think he has like 5 or 6 runs scored already this week. Yeah, 2 runs scored, 1 for 3. He was intentionally walked because he's so scary, and a stolen base. So like these are I like to toot my horn when I do things well. I also like to crap on myself when I do things poorly. But like these are the things that happen middle of the season that I just love. Like where it's like, and again, it's not a bad drop. I mean, he's been god awful. He was hitting 8th, right? So you had to have a little bit of faith. And if you've experienced all that badness so far this year, you just want to move on from him. But with him, I was like, look, it's like Justin Turner. It's like, I don't see huge differences between these guys this year and next year. And you just got to hope that that plays out. And that's part of the game. And it's easier in 15 teamers than 12 teamers in a lot of ways because there's not much better on the waiver wire to begin with. So anyways, there, I've tooted my horn enough. Nobody wants to hear it. But I did pick up Seiya Suzuki in this league last week. So I'm feeling good about that. All right. Jonathan VR added him for 77, runner-up of 17. Oh, man. Well, yeah. And I will say one thing I had him lined up for 57. And this is something that happens. And I'm going to be transparent here. You know, the Tout Wars bids comes out and I see somebody in my league has bid almost $70 for him. So I'm like, gotta bump it up. So anyways, so I did that and I was punished for doing that, which is good because I shouldn't,
Tout Wars bidding's way different.
I know. Diego Castillo, dropped him again. I added Bruce Gratterall, dropped Emilio Pagan. What's happening? Lining up for Bruce Star to get the save yesterday. Let's throw him out in the 8th inning and have somebody else screw up. So that sucked. I thought I was brilliant again. The story of misunderstood genius. Felix Bautista, added him in my main where I need saves. I need steals. And couldn't come together. In my other league, I added, this is another main, added Harold Ramirez, 17, backup of 3. Zach Davies dropped him. Harold Ramirez has been very good this year.
Yes, very good.
And he's playing every day right now. Picked up Gavin Sheets, dropped Rich Hill. Sheets has been playing against righties. They have 4 righties to start off this week. So I went with that. That's it for that league. In my OC, I did a lot of things. I added Nick Lodolo, dropped Oscar Gonzalez, $12 bid, $11 backup. Jonathan VR added him for 7, dropped Michael Chavis. Added Bailey Ober, dropped Marco Gonzalez. Added Freddie Peralta, dropped Jose Quintana. The Quintana one's brutal because I have him in a main too, and I didn't start him this week because he had that Yankee start to begin with. I was just like, this could go gnarly, and he shoved. So eat that, Toby. In TGFBI, added Gavin Sheets, dropped Diego Castillo. And then in Barf, I got Vinny P. I added Vinny P for 222, runner-up 113. Added VR for 57, runner-up 22. I had, I think, the most money of people who are still competing in that league. So, and I am awful on offense. So I went hard after Vinny P there. How about you? What do yours look like?
One OC, I added Lou Trevino, dropped Tyler McGill with Stings, $12, runner up 8. Added Carson Kelly, dropped Elias Diaz, 6-0. Added Hunter.
Is McGill coming back or?
They moved him to the 60-day.
Oh, 60-day, yeah.
He's gone on all my teams now. It stinks. It really hurts. He's so good. Hunter Dozier, added Hunter Dozier, dropped Orlando Arcia, $3 runner up. And then one player added in a lot of places where he basically fell to me. I'm taking a chance due to the multi-position eligibility and the production of late with one Kevin Biggio. I got him for $2, no runner-up bid, and I dropped Nelson Cruz. I'm giving up on Nelson Cruz, so I may regret that, but I didn't like anything I was seeing. Maybe I'm foolish, but we shall see. And he got scratched.
Has he been bad?
Horrible, like really bad. Really? And he just got scratched the other night, so he might be hurt now too. Who knows? And another OC, I
added Biggio. That feels like a personal attack.
Well, trust me, I've been anti-Gavin quite a bit too. But in my next OC, I added Zach Plesac, dropped Anthony DeSclafani, $9, no runner-up. Adding Kevin Biggio, dropped Tyler McGill, $6, no runner-up. My third OC, added Vinny P for $23, runner-up of 2. Added Derek Hall, $23, runner-up of 2. I dropped Eddie O and Avisail Garcia. Dropping Eddie O might sting, but I don't like the playing time there. And then I added Kyle Hendricks for $4 with no runner-up bid. Dropped Anthony DeSclafani. I don't even think I started Hendricks this week, even with the 2-step, but I added them just to have somebody.
Why did he only go 3 innings today? Do you know?
I didn't see. No, I'm curious as well. Because I'm hoping he didn't get hurt. In my fourth OC, I added Derek Hall, dropped Orlando Arcia 46-21. And I added Will Smith, the closer for the Braves, dropped Jose Barrios $4 with a runner up of $4. So that one felt pretty good to get that one so cheap. Do another 12-teamer. I added Isak Paredes for 44, runner up at 22, dropped Oscar Gonzalez, added Vinny P for 43, no runner up bid. Tyrone Taylor got dropped. One of my OCQs, I added Hunter Strickland for 7, no runner up, dropped Alex Fado. My other OCQ, which I'm leading, added Vinny P, dropped Eduardo Escobar, $23, no runner up bid. Added Lou Trevino, dropped Jordan Hicks, $13 to 2. And then the ones everyone cares about, Barf. I added Derek Hall for 46, runner up at 22, dropped Ezekiel Duran. And because you outbid me on Vinny P. And then TGFBI, I added Derek Hall for 56, runner up of 17. Added Yusei Kikuchi for 12, runner up of 2. I dropped Erod. I dropped Erod everywhere, and that stings, but there's no story at all on what's going on there. There's nothing. It's just a dead spot, and I need it badly. And that I dropped them in a lot of 12s already. That was our last 15 share because it's pitching so bad in 15. It's like I'm going to hold them. I had to drop them. I didn't have a choice anymore. So it really stung because I like Erod, but he was a mess, and now he's been out. Who knows how long it's going to ramp him up? There's so many question marks there that I'm just going to eat that one and move on.
Hey, Bubba, can we talk about something really quickly?
Sure.
Well, actually, two things now that I'm thinking about. The first one is Hansel Robles got designated for assignment, which is so sad.
Which means someone will pick him up.
He'll be getting saved in no time.
He'll be like an Anaheim or something. Don't worry about it.
Oh, man. And then the second thing I wanted to talk to is I took a look at the First Pitch Arizona DC standings.
Oh, really? Are they good?
Holy crap, Bubba.
Of course, there's no money on the line. Of course.
Bubba's got a team with 129 points in that league, in that DC. 129 points. He's 24 points up on the field. He's beating me by, I think he might have double my score. He's beating me by 41 and a half points. Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to you for that, because that's a dominant team, and that's what sucks is if you have that in a DC, it's like an overall contender right there. But.
Yep, and it won't matter. And that was the one where I remember I left that draft because we did the first half there and the second half online or something like that, and I was like, I have no saves. It's going to suck. I don't know how I'm going to piece it together, but it's working out. It's working out just fine. Yeah. So far so good. I'm going to get a free Baseball HQ subscription. Can't wait. Which I already have anyways. All right, listener questions. Our buddy Yancey Eaton showed up in the chat, which started a whole thread of fun. But we're just going to get to his question. Hey, cuties, he must be talking about you. What do your hearts tell you about Brandon Shane Drury replicating what he's done in the first half for the rest of the year? Is it a foregone conclusion he gets traded and the home park zaps his value? Where do you think he most likely ends up? So what are your thoughts on Mr. Brandon Shane Drury?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, it's hard to think about, like, where he's going to end up. Just looking at like, will he be able to replicate? I mean, the BABIP seems totally reasonable, 293, 294 career. So that's nice. His batted ball profile is slightly different, but like it's more, fewer ground balls. So helping out the power a little bit. Hard hit rate is up. The contact rate is way up, highest he's ever had in his career. So some positive changes, and we're pretty far into the season now. So, you like to think at least some of that is sticking. So I like that. He's got 23 barrels, 11.6%, 112.4 max EV. The question about like whether he's going to be traded somewhere, it's a good question. I mean, if you're the Reds, right, you're definitely thinking about that and you want to do that. But I just wonder, I mean, with his versatility, he's played third base, he's played second base, he's played first, he's played shortstop. Yeah, he actually has not played the outfield this year.
Oh, he has in the past. I thought he did this year too. Wow.
Yeah, he has in the past, but not this year. The only thing that I think about is, is he a guy that they like, Moustakas is done. I mean, let's be honest with you. He's been done for a little while. So are they going to be able to get enough for Drury from a contender? Is there a contender that needs his bat off the bench and he's going to get them enough? where, I mean, he seems like the type of guy who he's going into free agency this year. It might make sense for him to stay with the Reds, on maybe a short-term deal, to continue to show that this is the guy he is and this is what he can do. I mean, that's kind of me hoping because I also have Drury. But I think what he's doing is legit. I think what he's doing is legit. What does he have? He's got 17 home runs on 23 barrels. So maybe that's slightly high, but he's in
the ballpark that helps him.
The ballpark. Yeah. So, I mean, I think everything he's doing looks legit. Whether he'll get traded, I don't know, but I'm really enjoying having him on my team. That 3-run homer that he hit yesterday, I think was fantastic because I was having a rough day, and in a shorter slate, and you get a 3-run homer, and you're like, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Just looking at teams that might be able to use him anywhere in the infield, basically, you could potentially make an argument for the Blue Jays. That's one. If the White Sox start to contend again, they could definitely use him because third base is a mess for them. The Astros could always use more depth, but in the National League, if Ozzie Albies' injury is really bad, you can see the Braves going for him for second base. That could be one that they could slide into. And then one team you can never count out is the Dodgers. That's always one that could make a move, but I hope he stays in Great American Small Park. But the reason I mentioned those teams, I think all those ballparks are at least semi-decent for the bat. So I wouldn't be too worried about Mr. Drury because none of them are going to be as good as Great American Small Park. That is the best ballpark to hit in this year, even more than Coors Field. So they're all going to take a hit no matter where he goes. That's just the bottom line. So is what it is there. All right, let's talk about the next one here. If my phone will, there it goes. Mike Carter, the doctor in the house. What do I do with Jonathan India? And this is a great question because I keep running him out there. He was so banged up. He had the hamstring injuries, got it hurt again, spent more time on the IL. It felt like he spent extra time out there to kind of get right. You figured things would be good. It's still been ugly, Toby, since he's come back from the IL on June 14th. Let's just take a little quick snippet of the whole setup here from Mr. Jonathan India. Since his return from the IL, hitting a .154 with 2 home runs, 1 stolen base, 2 caught stealings, and a 26% strikeout rate. Been dreadful. They keep leading them off, though, but it's been bad, Toby. So what are your thoughts on Jonathan India?
Yeah, let me take a look here. I'm going to take a look at what I'm seeing in the rolling
graphs out, folks. Here we go. Yeah,
okay. How many games does he have during that period of time?
I got it right here. 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 17.
Okay, 17. So we'll do a rolling 17 game average. I mean, the thing I think generally that's challenging with these guys is, you kind of got to roll them out there, right? Like
you have to. That's why I keep playing him because he's so good on that offense and that ballpark. It's like Coors play. Like you mentioned, Jonathan Daza. I was doing the same thing in 15s. You give me a week in that ballpark, you're playing. I don't care who you are. Jonathan India leading off for the Reds in that ballpark, you're playing. That's just the bottom line. As bad as it sucks, it's like, yeah, you're running out there, boy.
Yeah, it's kind of like telltale signs of him still struggling with the injury. Contact rate is way down. Again, not awful, but 72% overall contact.
Pretty bad, yeah.
And then 80% Z contact. The ground ball is way up, so ground ball shooting up because he's injured. Hard hit rate's down. O swing's right around league average.
A great OBP guy. He's walking like 4%, 5% since he came back. He's not even walking.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you got to do with somebody like India is if you have the luxury of playing somebody over him, I think that's fine. But the problem is how do you time when he gets healthy again? Is he going to be injured the rest of the season? Potentially, right? Like maybe that hamstring just never gets better. But I think more likely than not, it's kind of like spring training. The Reds are out of it, so they're going to manage that injury well. But, we had a shortened spring training. He got injured right off the gate. So he's really in spring training mode. And so the question is just when he gets a feel again. And when he gets a feel, like we saw what he did second half last year, it can be an incredibly valuable thing for him to do. So that is all to say, like, yeah, I think you hold on to him in 15s and in 12s. You have him on your bench if you can. You try to kind of see when maybe it looks like he's getting a feel for it, but more often than not, you just haven't been there. I have him in my lineups. I'm
Yeah.
just trotting him out there and
I
hoping it
tried him
works
out there too. He's one of those guys that I'll be stubborn with, and maybe I'll sink with the ship, but I'm not dropping Jonathan India. There's too much to like there. Like you said, replacement value wise, what are you going to find out there that's going to make it work? Maybe you'll find gold, but it's like as much as we even like Jonathan VR, I'd still play Jonathan India. So it's just it's a tough deal all around for sure.
You know what you made me think of though, Bubba, is
Yes.
Dido. Dido. I will go down with the ship. I won't. Or is it I won't go down with the ship? No, I will go down with this ship.
I was
Yeah.
wondering where you're going
I
with
will.
that.
Something, 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 and surrender.
It's music hour
What
with
fly
Toby
white
G.
flag above my something. I don't know. I mean, this is why people listen to the podcast.
Yep.
Mostly to hear me sing. That's at least going into the podcast. That's generally what I think about.
It's a major point on the ratings and reviews, that's for sure.
For
Little Book
those of
of
you, actually,
Calm
that's a good point. For those of you who enjoyed that singing performance, please go to iTunes and give both Bubba and my podcast, both of them, a 5-star rating and review. That's the
we would
only way you're
appreciate it.
getting a Dido shout out and singing ever again.
If you want me to sing, you have to give rating and reviews. Otherwise, I don't sing for free.
Yeah.
Little Book of Calm, our buddy has 2 questions for us. First, when making add or drop decisions every Sunday, do you weigh rest of season projections, weekly projections, schedule, more for hitters? I'll give you the floor in a second because you're a way deeper fabber than I am, but I kind of bring my DFS into it, like I've talked about. I look at recent performances. I look at matchups going forward. We talk about that a lot. Ballpark, 7-game series weeks, 2 weeks from now, they have 8 games, stuff like that. So I like the matchups quite a bit. But I look on guys like, especially in 12ers where I'm mixing, like I'm dropping and adding. I just want the hot bat and I'm rolling. To me, at this point in the year, outside of maybe a Vinny P or someone, you're not finding a lot of long-term guys. You have to expect you're adding these guys and you're probably going to be dropping them within 2 to 4 weeks. That's just the way it's going to go. So for me, give me the hot bat, give me the great matchups. That's where I look. But I know Toby looked at a lot more stuff. I know he's going to have the Rasball and all that goodie out there. So what do you look at when you do your fab for hitters, Toby?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always a balance of all those things. Like if a guy is way better than replacement level rest of season, then I think you keep him. Like there's guys like I think a way to think about it is you have kind of your core guys that are in your lineup, 95% of the time. Like they're pretty much always in there, maybe not on, tough 2-game weeks or something like that, but they're generally in your lineup. And those aren't guys that you drop. But I think it's nice. In some instances, you don't have the luxury, but sometimes it's nice to have the freedom of having a few spots that are just cyclical. So maybe it's like one outfield spot in your util spot, or maybe it's an MI or a CI spot, but just like trying to identify schedule. And there's like, you just got to think about it like intuitively as like layers. There's like the first 4 games of next week. Do they have good four games next week? Is the weekend series good? And then think about who like in your lineup is going to be in each situation. And then like, does this guy have a good 2 weeks coming up? Am I going to use this guy for, these next 2 weeks? And then like that kind of informs like your fab bidding a little bit, like how much you go for them or when you go for them. But there's generally like just a lot of guys where the matchup is going to determine whether they're good or not. The 4 games or the 5 games in Monday through Thursday is going to determine whether they're usable or not. And those are the guys that I kind of rotate through hitter wise. And I think it's something that you have to learn because I'm by no means perfect on this at all, but like it's hard to drop guys. It's hard to drop guys, especially ones that have performed well. You're like, I don't want to drop this guy, like, because he's been good, but you got to think in a long season, generally over the long course, like the projections are going to win. And sometimes they're absolutely wrong, but a lot of times that's playing time or some new skill growth or something like that. And so just like, the timing of it is difficult, but you got to be willing to move on from those guys that aren't rest of the season guys. And you can use tools like Rasball, where they can give you that, that information and look at the week to week, look at the stuff. Cause that's something that you'll notice is like, man, the matchups are everything. Like for 80% of the player pool, the matchups are really determining who's got a really good week and who doesn't.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there's a lot of things, as Toby said, that goes into your formula. But The one thing I will say is sometimes just don't overthink it, because you'll spend so much time digging in on it, you're just going to get frustrated. So kind of do what works for you and figure out what that is and rock and roll from there. His second question: do you buy Gallo as a top 100 overall player, 5x5 with OBP in the second half? He is projected for 14 home runs with a 320 OBP rest of the season via the BatX and 75% playing time. Razzball Player Rater projects him to as a player 83 overall in OBP within $1 of Taylor Ward. To date this season, he has been batter 217. So he's been 217 on the season. He's projected to be 83rd in the second half in an OBP format. And the BatX has him with 14 homers and 320 OBP in the second half. What thoughts on Joey Gallo? Because he's so lost to me. Like, given OBP, he's a better player. Even this year, it's been bad in OBP. Like, he's just bad right now. So what's your thoughts on him? Like, I just want nothing to do with Joey Gallo, but I guess if you can get him on the cheap, there's a conversation in an OBP format.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Gallo's bad. He's been really, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I buy it. I buy it. Look, his K rate is close to 40% right now. The playing time will be key to monitor, but the contact rate is actually better than his career average. You know, the O swing is worse than his career average, which is interesting. You know, makes me think that he's pressing a little bit, but his ground ball rate's actually lower. Like, his fly ball rate is high. His line drive rate is up. His home run per fly ball is 10% lower than his career average. His barrel rate, is 19%, which is right in line with his career average. He's got 20 barrels and he's got 9 home runs. He's got 249 barrels in his career and he's got 167 barrels. So my math ain't great, but I think he's doing, he's underperforming on his home runs, for sure. So I guess the major question is like whether, he's pressing and he's chasing on pitches outside the zone as a result of that. But I can buy him, turning it around a little bit. Like, yeah, like you mentioned, if he gets a 320 OBP and he hits for power and he could go on a pretty good run there. Yeah, I don't mind having him in OBP. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But monitor the playing time closely, because like there's just such a narrative out there around him and how bad he's been, that stuff I think can definitely influence managers who don't want to be seen like, oh, I'm blind to this very clear narrative that's developing.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit there. Ryan Venancio on Twitter at Vin_Armbarn. He tweeted this out today and it made me laugh. Joey Gallo is rostered in 66% of OCs, 12 teamers, and is being started in 34% of them right now. So it tells you where people still stand on Joey Gallo.
I mean, honestly, like, people who have Joey Gallo on their team in OCs are probably pretty close to last place, and they're not paying attention anymore. Yep. So they're just cruising.
Yep. Agreed.
Not
Stephen P says, might be a long answer and perhaps a bit nuanced, but some color on the difference between the finer points between Steamer and the BatX. I believe you referenced both when doing analysis, how they differ and why they're strong. Well, the BatX uses StatCast. That's one thing for you. That's a big factor. And to me, that's especially in season, that's real big for me. What do you have between Steamer and the BatX? You're a much deeper projection guy, but for me, the BatX is the holy grail for a lot of the extra factors that Mr. Cardi uses.
Yeah, I mean, so the major thing is, I think that Steamer uses StatCast, but not in the same way. I mean, Derek Carty, the BatX, the Bat, it's a proprietary system. So we don't really know everything that's involved in there. I know with DFS, like, they include things like umpires that they're facing and weather and all of those things into the projection. So for DFS, it's really effective. But I think on the season long level, it incorporates StatCast in there. I think the thing for me, the reason why I go to BatX normally with hitters and why I weigh it higher in my formula is because over the last couple of years, it's been more effective at rate stats. Yeah. And not just like, this guy's going to hit 15 home runs, but looking at the rates, the underlying rates. So like home runs per plate appearance, runs per plate appearance. I think even in stolen bases last year, it was better than Steamer was. But I think, Steamer is still a great system. I use it and I integrate it into my system as well, just to a lesser weight, at least in hitting. In pitching, I think it's pretty weighted equally. Steamer seems to be higher on a lot of minor league players as well this year than the BatX is, just like across the board. And for that reason, I think the BatX has been better at projecting how minor leaguers are going to do. So when it's all said and done, I move towards the BatX in hitting, and then again, I think Steamer does a great job too. And then for pitching, I think I weight them pretty equally. I don't think there's any system that's really kind of been out in front. And Jeff Zimmerman wrote a great series of articles in the winter, when we were out of season, kind of looking back at the projections to see how guys did in comparison, how projection systems did in comparison on a variety of different metrics, and essentially found that the BatX is the best at rates. ATC is the best at projecting playing time, but that they're all that the best approach is to combine them all into a system. So
yeah, 100% agree. Like Steamer, I do prefer a little more for pitching. I'm with you. The biggest problem I usually have with Steamer is their projections for playing time are usually so far off. So you have to start doing your own thing where you have to factor. So then you have to factor in the rates, as you mentioned, where the BatX, they're all kind of flawed in the playing time, but Derek gets it a lot closer. It feels like he's much more in tune there. And then in season, as we said, like I just love how he incorporates StatCast and everything else into it to really fine tune things. So I'm with you on that one. All right, a couple more questions here. We got Simon P asks, can you guys discuss the mess that is the Pirates? So many failed call-ups, so many gross veterans. Who will be worth rostering down the stretch? Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
End of story. Vogelbach on a week where they face a bunch of hittable righties in Great American Small Park.
Yeah, so I would say, Hayes.
Yeah,
he's in a little bit of a slump right now, but
his metrics still look pretty good.
Yeah, Reynolds. I think Jack Sawinski is super underrated.
He's awesome. I can't stand when I listen to certain shows like downplay him. I'm like, the dude's like leading rookies in home runs. How are we downplaying this man?
Dude, the guy has 13 home runs in 214 plate appearances. Yeah. And obviously, the batting average is low. He's also got a 264 BABIP. He's got a 25% home run rate, but he makes a decent amount of contact. He's got 17 barrels. He looks pretty max good. EV. It's not ridiculous, at all. Like he's not going to help you in batting average, but that's certainly serviceable in a 15-teamers. I'd love to have him in more 15-teamers. Honestly, he was like one of those guys that just kind of hung out on the waiver wire for too long.
Because no one believed him.
I had chances, and I didn't.
And now he's sticking because like they're moving around so many pieces there, and it's like now he's stuck and he keeps producing. Like Bly Madras is a guy I want to buy in on. He's been like pretty good to come out with, but I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop there. But they're letting him run out there. But I'm with you. Sawinski, Hayes, O'Neill Cruz is going to be fine. He's striking out a ton. It's a little scary, but his overall skills I think are fine. But Reynolds and Hayes would be the top two. I like your Sawinski call as well. He's pretty darn solid.
Yeah. And I have Sawinski in an OC. I have a very competitive OC, and
nice.
I've got Sawinski in there.
He's serviceable for sure.
Oh yeah. He's power. I need home runs. It's like my weakest category. So that's why I'm doing that. But he's been great. Outside of that, it's really hard. Vogelbach, like you mentioned, has been playing pretty much every day, but it's not the same level of power, and the lineup isn't producing as much. So, he's got 10 home runs, which, is only slightly under, but, we kind of have a track record of his 235 batting average is like the best he's ever had in his entire career. So Sawinski has a little bit more hope, I think, than Vogelbach does. And I think outside of that, I think it's tough. O'Neill Cruz, obviously, I have not been paying attention to him because I don't have him anywhere, but
striking out a ton.
204.
Striking out a ton. A lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, but we all kind of knew that was going to happen.
You look at all his quality of contacts and stuff. When he hits the ball, he hits it hard.
Yeah, his O swings is wild. His contact rate is wild. It's not that bad, but yeah. So O'Neill Cruz should be good. Like he'll give you home runs and steals the rest of the way. Like his rest of season projection for the bat is 9 and 8, which is beautiful. That's great. Yeah, it's great to have it in a 15-teamer in a deep league.
Most definitely. Last question we have is from our buddy Dave Petroziello, and here's the David Peterson question. He says, how real do you think David Peterson is? Had him in an OC about a month ago, never used him, dropped him, and he threw 3 gems. Got him back. Is he fringy for 12s, or is this kind of a real deal? I have him in a lot of 15s. I have him in a couple 12s too. He's not a must start for me in 12s, but this is a guy that showed promise from time to time in the past, and he looks like he's getting healthy again now. I think there's going to be some hiccups for sure, but I think he's definitely serviceable in the right situations. That's the layman's way of pointing it out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's definitely serviceable in 15s. Obviously, like, you're rostering him. In OCs, I think he's a matchup play. 60 strikeouts and 58 innings pitched. The BABIP is about where it's been throughout his career. Strand rate is a little higher than it generally is in his career, but he's been better. Swinging strike rate at 11.4%. The O swing being higher is really important for him, 31.6%. But at the same time, he's not dominant in the zone, Z contact. So that's going to limit the strikeout upside a little bit. And then there's the walk issues. He's falling behind batters, 49.4%. It feels like that's notable just because, generally the outcomes aren't as good when you get behind. So he's doing pretty well on a pitch specific basis. Yeah, the slider has taken big steps, 26% swinging strike rate, 44.8% O swing, 83.8%, Z contact. That's the tough thing, is he doesn't really have an effective pitch in the zone that generates a lot of whiffs. Let me just check something really quickly. I'm going to check his last 5 starts and just see. He has faced the Marlins, I think, twice in the last 5, and they're like the worst team in baseball against
he faced Texas his last
against
start, I think.
lefties. So I think some of it's that. Let me just see here. Yeah, so even like over his last 5, his Z contact's actually gotten worse, 92%. His O swing's way off the charts, 36.8. His walk rate is way down, 4.9%. That's interesting. 30% K. So, I mean, the skills recently are looking really, really good, but the question is whether that's actually like a change. I bet he's throwing his slider a lot more.
The slider's a lot more from what I saw, yes.
Yeah, he's upped his slider percentage around like 5 or 6%. I wonder if, let's see, his 4-seam he's increased. I wonder, does he have a sinker? Yeah, and he stopped throwing his sinker. He did all the things that you want to see him doing. Yep. But he is like the one, he looks really good. Yeah, I definitely have him in 12s and 15s. The only concern is just like that. I don't love it when that end zone contact rate is high, just because what it can mean is, he has trouble finishing guys off. Guys are better at putting the ball in play.
If he's not getting the O swing, he's got to throw it in the zone more and trouble happens.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing though, is he is getting the O swing. It's way higher. So
I mean, if one starts, he doesn't have the feel for the slider. It's like,
yeah,
that thing's about to happen.
Yeah, but it looks good. Looks good. I like it. Yeah, I wish I had.
I'm happy to have him in a few spots. So we'll continue to roll there and see how it plays out. But that'll wrap us up for this episode. Listeners, you guys came through in a big way. Awesome questions. Keep them coming this season. That's always the highlight of the show. Any final thoughts, Toby, as we're halfway through the baseball season?
No, Lou Trevino is in for a save right now, and I'm really hoping that he converts it. Really hoping he converts it. I'm going to
put that game on while I finish.
This is how my mind works. I go from one guy on my fantasy teams to the next guy, just hoping. I need saves in that league bad, and if he can really solidify that job, Bubba, I will feel good, because I have Rysel as my other guy, and Trevino. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll take it. But we'll wrap it up there, folks. We'll be back to you guys next week with your Week 15 FAAB recap. Make sure you check out Toby on the Twitter at BatFlipCrazy. I'm at BD Intric, and as always, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you guys next week.